You're weak. Not physically, mentally. And you know it. Every time something gets hard, you quit. Every time someone criticizes you, you collapse. Every time life pushes back, you retreat. And the worst part, you've convinced yourself this is just who you are. That some people are born strong and others aren't. That's a lie you tell yourself to avoid the truth. The truth is, you're weak because you've never been trained. Nobody taught you how to build mental strength. Nobody showed you the system. You've been stumbling through life hoping willpower and motivation would be enough. They never are. They never will be. But there's good news. The samurai faced the same problem 400 years ago. They took weak men, ordinary men with no special gifts, and transformed them into warriors in 90 days. Not through motivation, through a specific training system called Seishin Tanren. Mental forging. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how it works. Let me tell you about two men. Satoshi and Takeshi. They both started at the same place, same age, same background, same level of weakness. Both of them were 26 years old, living in Osaka, working dead-end jobs, going nowhere. Both of them hated their lives. Both of them wanted to change. But only one of them did. Satoshi did what you're doing right now. He consumed content, motivation videos, self-help books, podcasts about success. He'd get fired up for a day or two, start a new routine, and quit within a week. He'd blame his circumstances, his childhood, his genetics, other people. He spent 5 years in this cycle. 5 years of knowing he was weak and doing nothing real about it. Today, at 31, he's still in the same place. Same job. Same excuses. Same weakness. Takeshi did something different. He found a teacher who understood Seishin Tanren. And he committed to 90 days of the most brutal mental training he'd ever experienced. No shortcuts, no excuses, no quitting. 90 days later, he was unrecognizable. Not because he suddenly became talented, because his weakness was forged into strength through a system that has worked for centuries. And here's what you need to understand. Your weakness isn't permanent, it's just untrained. You have mental muscles that have never been developed. And just like physical muscles, mental muscles grow through progressive resistance training. The samurai understood this. That's why their system worked. That's why it will work for you. But first, you need to know why you're weak. Because if you don't understand the cause, you can't fix the problem. And the cause isn't what you think. You're weak because you've never experienced prolonged discomfort by choice. Every time something becomes uncomfortable, you stop. You quit the workout when it burns. You stop the project when it gets boring. You end the conversation when it gets awkward. You've trained your brain that discomfort equals stop. That's the programming. And that programming makes you weak. Studies show that the average person will quit a challenging task within 11 minutes of experiencing discomfort. 11 minutes. That's your threshold. That's how long you can tolerate difficulty before your brain screams to stop and you listen. The samurai had to build a threshold of hours, days, weeks. Because in battle, you don't get to quit when it's uncomfortable. You push through or you die. You're weak because you've outsourced your validation to other people. You need constant approval, constant reassurance, constant praise. When you don't get it, you interpret that as failure. So you avoid anything where approval isn't guaranteed. You play small, you stay safe. You never test yourself because you're terrified of discovering you're not as good as you think. This need for external validation is a prison, and you've been locked inside for years. You're weak because you've never completed anything difficult. Look at your life, honestly. What have you finished that actually challenged you? Not things that came naturally. Not things that were easy. Things that pushed you to your limit and you finished anyway. Most people can't name a single example. Their entire life is a graveyard of abandoned projects and half-finished goals. And every time you quit, you reinforce the identity of someone who quits. You become weaker. This is why you're still weak. Not because you lack potential, because you've been training weakness instead of strength. Every time you choose comfort over discomfort, you get weaker. Every time you quit when it's hard, you get weaker. Every time you need validation to continue, you get weaker. You've been in the gym of weakness for years, and you wonder why you're not strong. Takeshi understood this. And when his teacher explained Seishin Tanren, he realized his weakness wasn't fixed. It was chosen. Every single day, through thousands of small choices, he was choosing weakness. And that meant he could choose differently. Seishin Tanren works in 3 phases. Each phase is 30 days, 90 days total. Each phase builds on the previous one. You cannot skip phases. You cannot speed it up. The system works because of the structure. Remove the structure, and you have nothing. Phase 1 is discomfort training. 30 days of deliberately choosing discomfort every single day. Not extreme discomfort, manageable discomfort, but consistent. The goal is to rewire your brain's response to difficulty. Right now, discomfort triggers retreat. After phase 1, discomfort triggers engagement. Takeshi's teacher gave him 3 daily practices for phase 1. Cold exposure every morning. 5 minutes in a cold shower. Not warm to cold, cold from the start. 5 minutes. Every single morning, no exceptions. This seems simple. It's not. Because every single morning, your brain will scream at you to stop, to make it warm, to skip today. And every single morning, you override that voice and stay in the cold. This practice does something critical. It teaches you that your brain's emergency signals are often false alarms. Your brain treats cold water like a threat. It activates the same stress response as actual danger. But you're not in danger, you're just uncomfortable. By staying in the cold despite the signals, you learn to distinguish between real threats and discomfort. This distinction is everything. Second practice was silence. 1 hour every day in complete silence. No phone, no music, no podcast, no TV, no books. Just sitting with yourself and your thoughts. This is torture for most people. Because in silence, you can't escape yourself. All your anxiety, your doubts, your fears, they all surface. And you have to sit with them. Most people last 15 minutes before they break. They convince themselves they need to check something important. They convince themselves this practice is pointless. They quit. Takeshi pushed through every single day, 1 full hour. And around day 12, something shifted. The anxiety didn't go away, but it stopped controlling him. He could observe it without being consumed by it. Third practice was physical challenge. Every day, push yourself to physical failure in something. Doesn't matter what. Push-ups until you can't do one more. Plank until you collapse. Run until your legs give out. The specific exercise doesn't matter. What matters is reaching the point where your body says stop and you discover you can go further. Your brain has a governor, a safety mechanism that tells you to stop before you're actually at your limit. It's trying to protect you. But that governor keeps you weak. Because you stop at 70% thinking it's 100%. Phase 1 training teaches you where your real limits are, and they're much further than you think. These 3 practices, cold exposure, silence, physical failure. Every single day for 30 days. No skipping, no reducing. No, I'll do extra tomorrow. I'm not a morning person. I'm naturally anxious. I'm not good with people. I'm not disciplined. I'm too old. I'm too damaged. These stories feel true. They're not. They're just patterns you've repeated so many times, they became your identity. Takeshi's teacher made him write down every limiting belief he had about himself, every story, every excuse, every reason he gave for why he couldn't do something. It took 3 pages. Then his teacher did something brutal. He made Takeshi prove each one wrong through action. I'm not a morning person. Wake up at 5 a.m. every day for 30 days and document how you feel. I'm naturally anxious. Do one thing that makes you anxious every single day for 30 days. I'm not good with people. Start a conversation with a stranger every day for 30 days. One by one, through action, Takeshi destroyed every story he'd been telling himself. This phase is psychological warfare. You're fighting against your own identity. Your brain will resist violently. It will create physical symptoms: anxiety, fatigue, depression, illness. Because your identity is trying to survive. It knows that if you succeed in phase 2, the old you dies, and it will fight to prevent that. But here's what happens if you push through. Around day 20 of phase 2, you start to feel free, lighter, because those stories were weights you were carrying, and you just discovered they were never real. You made them up, and if you made them up, you can make up better ones. Phase 3 is pressure testing. 30 days of deliberately putting yourself in challenging situations to test your new strength. This is where the forging becomes permanent. Metal isn't strong just because you heated it. It's strong because you heated it, shaped it, and then cooled it under pressure. Same with mental strength. Takeshi's teacher designed challenges specifically for him. Public speaking when he was terrified of it. Starting difficult conversations he'd been avoiding. Taking risks in his career. Asking for things he wanted. Every single day, a new challenge designed to test whether the weakness was really gone. Some days he passed. Some days he failed. But here's what mattered. He didn't collapse when he failed. He didn't quit. He analyzed what happened, adjusted, and tried again. This response, this resilience, this is what strength actually is. Not never failing. Failing and continuing anyway. By day 90, Takeshi was unrecognizable. Same person. Different operating system. He ended up quitting his job and starting a business. Not because the training made him entrepreneurial, because the training removed the fear that was stopping him. Within 2 years, that business was generating more than his entire previous decade of employment. But the business wasn't the real victory. The real victory was that he wasn't weak anymore. Meanwhile, Satoshi was still consuming content, still getting motivated and quitting, still blaming circumstances, still weak. Same potential as Takeshi, different choices. Now, let me tell you where you're going to fail. Because you are going to fail if you make these mistakes. Mistake 1 is negotiating with the system. You're going to think you can modify it to fit your life. Make the cold shower 3 minutes instead of 5. Do silence for 30 minutes instead of an hour. Skip a day when you're busy. The moment you negotiate, you lose. The system works because it's non-negotiable. Remove that and you remove the transformation. Mistake 2 is quitting in phase 2. When your identity starts fighting back, you're going to think something is wrong. You're going to think the system isn't working. You're going to think you're getting worse instead of better. You're not. This is the process. The darkness before the breakthrough. If you quit here, you waste everything you built in phase 1. Mistake 3 is doing this alone. Takeshi had a teacher, someone who held him accountable, someone who saw through his excuses. You need this too. Find someone who will do the 90 days with you. Someone who won't let you quit. Someone who's as committed as you are. Trying to do this alone is possible, but your success rate drops by 70%. Here's your challenge. Decide right now if you're actually going to do this, or if you're just going to watch this video and change nothing, because I just gave you the complete system. The same system the samurai used. The same system Takeshi used. It works. It's proven. The only variable is you. If you're serious, write down today's date. This is day 0. Tomorrow is day 1 of phase 1. 30 days of cold exposure, silence, and physical failure. No negotiations, no excuses. Then phase 2. Then phase 3. 90 days total. And 91 days from now, come back to this video and leave a comment. Tell me who you became. Tell me what changed. Tell me what you accomplished that you never thought possible. Because if you actually do this, if you complete all 90 days, you will not be the same person. The weakness will be gone, forged into strength. But most of you won't do this. You'll watch this video, recognize yourself in Satoshi, and still do nothing. You'll stay weak. Not because you have to, because you choose to. The question is, which man are you? Satoshi or Takeshi? The one who talks about change or the one who endures the forging? 90 days. That's all it takes. Are you willing to pay the price?